So for the past 10 years or so, my wife and I have done a cousins camp for our 5 grandchildren. They come in, we do games, we horseback ride, we fish, we go to the zoo, we watch movies, we eat a lot, we laugh, we love, we hang out. But my favorite part of that is at night we do a big circle and everybody in the circle tells one thing they like about everybody else in the circle. It builds some camaraderie, it builds self-esteem, it shows how we love each other. But the other thing we do is everybody in the circle prays. We sing a song together. But every year my wife picks a Bible verse that's our theme for the week, and everybody memorizes that verse. One of my favorite ones we've ever done is Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be terrified. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. I love that verse. I memorized it just like the grandkids. And in a time like this with COVID-19, I'm going to tell you, it's a hard world. My mom lives in a retirement center. She's 89 years old and she's on lockdown. She has to go to the cafeteria and bring her meal back to her room. She can't play games with her friends. It's hard for her. I've got a really good friend whose wife is in an Alzheimer's unit. He can't go in and see her. They try to FaceTime and look through the window, but it's not the same because she doesn't always understand and she's confused sometimes. My daughter's a nurse and she's also a single mom. And it's hard for her. She worries about what happens if she gets sick and will she expose her kids. And every day she works either in the ER or in one of the operating rooms or in ICU. And that's scary sometimes. I know people whose job is gone. I know people who are frustrated and stressed and worried. What do you do in a time like that? When you see everything in the world happening, and we still do things, but online church is not the same as church. Bible studies by Zoom or Marco Polo are not the same as sitting with someone in person and talking about Jesus. Praying over the phone, or as I've done, standing in the front yard and yelling at people with my prayers is not really the same as being able to put an arm on their shoulder and pray over them. I know some people with COVID-19. I will probably know more. I may even know someone that dies from it. But here's the lesson I take away from all of this. God commanded me to be strong and courageous. Every day I try to remember that. I try not to be afraid. I don't want to be terrified. I don't want to live my life in fear. So we mask up and glove up and we go to the store. And we do. Last time we went to the store, we bought some things for us, some things for my elderly mom, some things for a healthcare worker, some things for a handicapped person, and some things for 2 older people that we know and love. I try to be smart. I try to be safe. But I want to be strong. I want to be courageous. Because after all, what's the worst thing that can happen to me? I die. And I get to go to heaven, where I spent most of my life wanting to be. So I encourage you, if you're a believer in Jesus, you be strong and courageous. It's what God told you to do. Don't be terrified and don't be afraid, because our God is with us and our God has this. And if you're not a believer, I wish you'd contact me. I wish you'd email steveridgelministry@gmail.com. And let me visit with you about how to become a believer so that you know in a frightening world, you can know the peace and the joy that comes from refusing to be terrified, from being strong and courageous, because God is with you.